The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Robert Tan. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, through his spokesperson, responded to a recommendation by the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, and the ICI to file plunder charges against him. On Friday, Romualdez's attorney and spokesperson, Aide Fajardo, said the congressman's conscience remains clear.
I willingly submitted myself to the ICI's fact-finding process, appeared voluntarily, and remained in the country. Throughout all these proceedings, no sword or credible evidence has ever linked me to any irregularity. And again, my conscience remains clear.
Romualdez said the evidence is now with the Office of the Ombudsman, and he expressed confidence in the Ombudsman's impartiality. The DPWH also released a copy of its referral to the Ombudsman recommending plunder charges against Romualdez and former Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico. The Department of Trade and Industry is accelerating digital upgrades and market enforcement. Its registration system processed 39,997 permits, up 9% from last year. The agency cleared 33,725 consumer complaints with zero backlog. Online teams screened 204,255 product links, driving takedown requests up 43%. Inspectors seized 541,235 substandard goods, reflecting stronger compliance across industries. At least 1,200 people could face charges over questionable government flood control projects. Rogelio Singson, head of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, said about 15 people may be charged per project. There are 80 projects under review. He said 64 police and military personnel are gathering evidence, with more documents expected from joint AFP-PNP teams next week. Economic managers are still optimistic that this year and next year's growth targets could still be hit. But business leaders are saying curbing corruption is the first and most vital step. Paolo Barcelon filed this report.
The Department of Economy Planning and Development says the Philippine economy remains resilient even amid intensifying political noise and the deepening flood control scandal. In a statement, Secretary Arsenio Balisacan says the country's sound macroeconomic fundamentals, cooling inflation, a healthy labor market, a manageable fiscal deficit, and a robust banking system continue to support growth. Despite a slower 4% GDP expansion in the third quarter, he says this year's average remains at 5%, with international institutions projecting 5.7% growth for 2026. But economists and business groups say the next big push must come from stronger anti-corruption measures. Reyes Tacandong Senior Advisor Jonathan Ravelas agrees that the fundamentals are solid, but says government must cut red tape, speed up priority projects, and show visible wins, especially in cracking down on corruption. He adds that if reforms hold, 6% growth is possible. RCBC Chief Economist Michael Ricafort says anti-corruption measures are the missing link to unlocking the country's full economic potential. He adds the government has no other choice but to intensify its crackdown, including pursuing cases linked to the alleged flood control anomalies. One of the biggest signals, he says, is the recommendation of the ICI and the DPWH to file plunder charges against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez and resigned Congressman Zaldico, a move also welcomed by business leaders.
Well, it sends a strong signal. It sends a strong signal to the people that government is listening to their clamor, and government knows they are angry, and government knows that heads should roll regardless of their relationship to the president or the first family. The cases that are filed are backed up by strong evidence, and hindi lang to ginawa because of recent events.
PCCI Vice President for Trade Brian Ang says many business organizations may also join the November 30 anti-corruption rally.
I think a lot of the business organizations have committed to joining. Leaders of the PCCI, MBC, diba, have openly declared that they will support and attend. So long as it is peaceful and so long as it is not extra-constitutional, we support the airing of grievances and accountability of public officials.
Kasi
Wala nang violence, walang junta, walang call for a reset, walang call for anything extra-constitutional. Everything is within the bounds of law.
Balisacan, meanwhile, stresses that the economic team remains aligned with the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028, despite the recent cabinet changes at the Department of Finance and the resignation of Budget Secretary Amina Pangandaman amid Zaldico's revelations. Paulo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Former Senator Manny Villar's net worth jumped about $1 billion in a single day, moving him to number 2 on Forbes' real-time list of richest Filipinos. The surge followed a 48% spike in Vistaland shares, reversing weeks of losses tied to a disputed 1.3 trillion peso land asset revaluation. BDO Unibank and BPI are backing a 47 billion peso loan for prime infrastructure, helping it acquire first-gen's natural gas assets. The deal signals confidence in prime infra's expansion into natural gas, a vital part of the Philippines' energy security. It's one of the year's largest energy financing deals, strengthening the company's role and stabilizing future supply for businesses and households. The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, plans to revamp real estate investment trust REITs rules to free up capital, boost property projects, and deepen Philippine markets. Changes would expand income-generating assets, extend the reinvestment period to 2 years, and relax public ownership rules. SEC Chair Francis Lim says the move strengthens rules, empowers developers, and supports growth. Public comments are open until December 3, 2025. Meanwhile, a new queen has been crowned. Fatima Bosch Fernandez of Mexico won Miss Universe 2025 at the 74th annual pageant Friday in Nonthaburi, Thailand. Miss Universe Philippines Atisa Manalo placed third runner-up. The 28-year-old captivated audiences with her evening gown and an advocacy-focused answer in the Q&A portion.
I work with an organization called Academy, where we work with young people to provide them opportunities to make them realize that it doesn't matter what your life circumstances is, it doesn't define where you will go. And I want to continue working with Academy on a bigger platform like Miss Universe to pursue making sure that people who come from low-income backgrounds are given the same opportunities as everyone.
Celebrities including Vice Ganda, Rufa Gutierrez, and drag queen Marina Summers took to social media to share their reactions following the coronation. We're taking a short break. More stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. The Philippines could attract larger pools of global capital by deepening its public markets. UK Ambassador Sarah Hulson said emerging economies can draw institutional investors for critical infrastructure, citing the UK's Mobilist program, which supported Citicorp Renewable Energy's IPO and Maynilad's share sale. She added the Philippines should expand listings, strengthen regulations, and boost market participation, with the UK continuing financial cooperation. The August 21 movement, or ATOM, opposes the burial of the late Juan Ponce Enrile at the libingan ng mga bayani. On BNC's At the Forefront, ATOM President Voltaire Bohol compared it to Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s controversial burial at the National Pantheon in 2016.
If you go back again several years ago, 2016, when the dictator was buried like a thief in the night, you know. Everybody was caught by surprise. No announcement whatsoever. That started that is definitely the mother of all lies, and practically paved the way for the return of the Marcoses to power, you know.
Enrile's daughter Katrina said he will be laid to rest on November 22. ATOM and other groups said Enrile was not a hero. Remember his sins.
If this will push through, I don't see him resting there for the rest of our lives.
Okay.
Someday, you know, this will be corrected. Even the burial of the dictator should be corrected. If we want our country to be, you know, to have a better future based on truths, then we have to correct those errors of our country.
Now, the Ombudsman is taking strong measures to clean up corruption and rebuild public trust. Pierre Pastor is live from Makati City to give us updates. Go ahead, Pierre.
Robert, he said, I'm cleaning the mess and I'm cleaning it properly because if they miss a beat, the country will suffer the consequences. These were the words of the newly appointed Ombudsman Boying Remulla as he faced the diplomatic corps present at the Strat-based Filipinas Forum 2025. He said when investors check on the country or place to invest in, they don't just look at the numbers and charts. They look at if the rules are followed. They look for trust, and it's the basic issue today. Remulla says at his first few days of office, he said he immediately did two things. First, he lifted the restriction on SAL and access because without the statements of assets, it invites without withholding the statements of assets, it invites impunity to corruption. By opening the access, it's telling the public that his office is safeguarding the people's trust. Second, he strongly supports live streaming the bicameral conference committee of the budget and the proceedings inside the Ombudsman's office when they do the preliminary investigation, so public would know what they're doing about the cases. He also gave an update saying they already have filed first batch of flood control cases before the Sandigan Bayan, and more cases are coming. For Saldico, they already recommended cases in the Sandigan Bayan. Graft and direct bribery are the cases. In the case of Martin Romualdez, they are still verifying facts as of the moment, but says anything is possible. Remulla even said that he and former Speaker Romualdez are fraternity brothers and friends, but it's about the country. He also said there will be people behind bars before Christmas, but reminds all that in the process, the rights must be always respected, so they're doing it carefully. He said he's cleaning the mess and cleaning it properly.
The Ombudsman is given all the tools which have never been used, but of course they will be used this time.
Robert, the Office of the Ombudsman says they're doing deeper reforms like modernizing fact-finding, digitizing records, and this is part of the whole of government integrity system. He said the cleaning of the mess is to uplift the investors' confidence. Robert?
Thank you for that report, Pierre Pastor, live from Makati City. Meanwhile, foreign policy analyst Lucio Pitlo III urges the Philippines to maintain stable relations with both the U.S. and China. On BNC's Business 360, Pitlo, president of the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies, said the country is caught in the U.S.-China rivalry in the Indo-Pacific. He noted Washington's recent lifting of reciprocal tariffs on select Philippine agricultural products.
What I think the big concern right now is, Philippines and ASEAN countries being caught in the middle in terms of, supply chains being interrupted, sourcing of inputs from China and getting investors from China, and how will U.S. accept, these goods? This issue about the rules of origin. In terms of the trade, how much of your inputs are sourced from a country that U.S. sees as a rival or as a peer competitor, and U.S. would like to diminish reliance on China, and whether U.S. will try to also encourage allies and partners to do the same.
Pitlo emphasized that geopolitics strongly influence U.S. trade policies.
Well, the sweet spot is that the Philippines will maintain good, stable, strong relations with both because, you're correct, they're important for us in both the economic as well as the security front. China is the country's largest trade partner since 2016. It's a big market for commodities like our tropical fruits and also our mineral ores, our manufactured goods, including our semiconductors. U.S. is also a very important investor in areas like the BPO, the services sector, and of course also a big market for our chip exports.
Maynilad opens a new wastewater treatment facility in Tunasan, Muntinlupa, capable of treating 20 million liters of used water daily. The Tunasan WRF uses modern biological treatment to reduce pollutants, protecting Laguna de Bay and serving 83,000 customers in the area. Maynilad said the project strengthens responsible wastewater management in the West Zone and contributes to cleaner waterways for communities. Colonial Group Holdings fully sold its 7.32% stake in DigiPlus Interactive, or Plus, generating about 8.46 billion pesos in gross proceeds. Colonial initially bought the shares at 3.6 pesos apiece, after selling 330 million at 25.65 per share. The holdings company made a 7.28 billion peso profit, excluding dividends. This marks the 7th exit by a minority investor at Plus. We're taking another breather. A look at how Philippine shares did today when we return. Stay tuned. Philippine shares rise for the third straight day. The PSCI ended over 1% higher to 59.97. Among the sectoral indices, only mining and oil closed in the red, with holding firms rising the most at more than 2%. Advancers outpaced decliners 118 to 75, with value turnover at 9.2 billion pesos. Majority of the day's most active stocks were in the green, with Ayala Land rising the most at almost 5%. On currencies, the peso trades at 59.02 against the US dollar, up from the previous close of 59.07. Asian stocks dropped following Wall Street's sharp decline in skittish trading, with the region's major benchmarks erasing the previous day's gains. All Asian markets are in the red, with South Korea's Kospi falling the most at almost 4%. On currencies, the US dollar gains against the South Korean won and the Thai baht. The Australian dollar strengthens against the US dollar. The greenback weakens versus the Japanese yen, but remains flat against the Hong Kong and Singapore dollars. On commodities, gold drops 0.4%, while oil prices are mixed. In crypto, Bitcoin falls 0.8%, and Ethereum drops almost 3%. Global equity markets, especially in Asia, fell sharply as a U.S. jobs report failed to clarify the near-term direction of interest rates for the Federal Reserves. Nikkei slumps at 2.2%, and South Korea's weakens at 3.7%. European markets are also set for a plunge, with Euro Stoxx 50 futures down at 1.4%, and FTSE futures falling 1%. Meanwhile, Wall Street futures in Asian trading rose at 20 basis points in Asia trading. Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's cabinet has approved a massive $135.4 billion of economic stimulus package, her first major policy move since taking office. The plan includes $112.7 billion in government spending, the largest in Japan since the COVID-19 pandemic, and $17 billion in tax cuts. Analysts said the package signals a strong commitment to expansionary fiscal policies aimed at boosting growth. Australia will ban people aged 16 and under from using Twitch starting December 10, making it the first country to restrict teens on the live streaming platform. The ban will also cover Reddit and Kick, while Pinterest is exempt because it focuses on image sharing rather than interactive social networking. Companies that fail to comply could face penalties of about $32 million. Warner Brothers Discovery is considering buyout bids from Paramount, Skydance, Comcast, and Netflix, signaling a possible sale. The offer could shape the future of HBO, the Warner Brothers Film Library, and DC Comics. Paramount seeks a full takeover with support from billionaire Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, while Comcast and Netflix focus on studios and streaming. Warner Brothers Discovery had rejected a $60 billion offer but is now reviewing strategic options that could reshape global entertainment. Major record labels are partnering with music startup Clay, potentially reshaping how AI is used in entertainment, including the Philippines. Universal, Sony, and Warner are licensing tracks so Clay's AI can let users remake songs, from voice changes to full reinterpretations. Artists and labels will retain control even as the industry navigates copyright challenges and responsible AI adoption. And that's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Robert San. Join us again next week as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.